Everyone can rise for the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everyone for attending the executive session scheduled at 6 p.m. this evening. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting in the Echo City Common Council was provided in the following manner. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the Echo City Hall bulletin board. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the Echo City website. Advance written notice of this meeting was sent to the Hamilton Gazette and the press. The meeting is being conducted via Zoom and conference call. The meeting is also being recorded to air on the Echo City website, Channel 97, and the Echo City Facebook page. Madam Roll call, please.
Mayor Genetti, Antonisi here, Clark here, Dash, Galloway here, Heist here, Hesse here, Timbers, Wright, Ritchie.
Here. All right, at this time, I have a motion to open up to an executive session regarding 2023 lake operations.
Make that motion.
Have a second. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
All right, at this time, Jody, can you silence the statement? Take everything away. Okay.
Y'all practice it. She's not doing it. Hold on, hold on, sorry.
I'd like to thank everyone to the regularly scheduled council meeting on July 13th. We just came out of an executive session, which at this time I'll turn over to our city solicitor to give a quick recap.
The mayor and council discussed, lake capacity, lake safety, and lake personnel, and pursue now and for the future.
Thank you for that. All right, moving on, number 6 on the agenda. If I can have a motion to approve the minutes from June 22nd meeting. Make a motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public have any comments on any items on the agenda, excluding items listed for the public hearings? Going once, twice. All right, Mayor, the floor is yours for your report.
Okay, so the fireworks are this weekend. I would like to mention several people that donated. Angela Puffigan, Marmero, Law, Remington and Burdick, Fort Scott, Bill Blaney, attorney, and CME, who are the engineers that are working. So we have quite a bit of money for this fireworks. There are no updates on the NPP grant that we applied for recently. They're apparently having issues in Trenton, and actually we haven't even had our NPP budget approved yet. There's a lot of transition going on, but hopefully that'll get solved. I think I sent an email out that the county did get money. I think they got out, if I recall, for a mobility study to open up a centralized ambulance and EMS and more on that. And then the last thing, I just got word today, the Olympics, the annual Lake Olympics, on August 12th. More information.
What day will it be?
It's always a Saturday.
That's August 12th.
Yeah.
How about the August 5th for the dedication?
Oh, right. I didn't bring that down. So everybody should have got their invitation. August 5th. I know it's a busy day in Park. We have spaghetti dinner, the yard sale, but it's only going to be an hour or less. It's a dedication of the building, the water treatment plant to former Councilman Ed Betts will be the and then it's Memorial. So you should have gotten an email, because I did give them your email, so you did get it, let me know. I sent it out to you. So then just, I guess, mentioning that the yard sale is August 5th, it's free to put your stuff out, and then when you make, our company would be happy to feed you, place spaghetti dinner. So you can give them bucks. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Did you see? Or what you do? Oh, yeah, no.
Moving on to the committee reports, finance redevelopment. We haven't had a meeting. I think we have to have another finance stuff, so now we're scheduled. Safety, we're looking to schedule a safety committee meeting sometime in August to dig deeper into the lake operations. That being said, I'll move on the highway. Councilman Place,
I have nothing.
Councilman Dash, Caleb? Sure.
The reports for our second quarter for construction, permits brought in 21,583. Zoning permits, that use board was $1,000. Fire prevention was $3,953. Annual inspection fees, $5,750. Certificate of occupancy inspections, $4,500. Administrative fees collected, $1,500. The total for the second quarter was $41,000 or $46 for the construction department. With the as far as the construction department and code enforcement, administrative duties, there was 82, certified mail was 44, in-person notifications, there was 55, inspections, there were 89, investigations, there was 55, red cards issued 50, telephone email notifications 123, TV tags issued 16, and zoning reviews up to 62 for 576 actions taken. Just a quick reminder, if you're putting in a pool, you need to have a permit, and those need to have a fence around it. That came up several times this past couple of years. So
Thank you.
Council,
Councilman,
one thing, sir, with the pools, is it still required that as long as the ladder can be taken out?
Yeah, that's really the issue.
Right.
If you pull your ladder up, because we.
You don't need a fence?
well, I know that there's been neighbors that have been told even their cables didn't have the ladder, they have a fence.
That's
So we
not,
can-
that's not really true. Things
So-
change.
That's why I was asking, somebody
Oh, yeah,
was
things
asking,
change.
somebody was asking that along, but said that they needed a fence, if they can take their pool, their ladder out, and they didn't need a fence. And I said I wasn't sure if they would change it.
No, I believe we need a fence. There was a house on St. Louis Avenue that has a small loop, and they need a fence, and you don't need a ladder to get
But does it actually see?
Well, I can look into it and I can report it.
Yeah, something else. But I know the things you were here. Remember the one?
Yeah, I remember what you were saying, but somebody was asking at the field, I think, last week, and they were thinking about doing a pool, and they didn't know if they needed a fence, they said they were gonna be able to take their ladder out. And I said, all right.
I wouldn't say
When I
it's
first moved
complete.
here, I knew you could, the ladder can get pulled out. The pool. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And,
Every year you have to go through this, even around where the stairs were, that's.
Yeah.
Right,
Councilwoman Anthony, property parks, playgrounds, and school board.
I don't have anything for school work, for parks and playgrounds. I want to thank all the staff's hard work for 4th of July. I was extremely busy. And thank the mayor for her time out there, PD for all of their time out there, and especially the police staff. They worked really hard that day. Hot, busy day. Hope that everybody had fun. Our goal is for everybody to be safe out there. So, I have the badge reports. So for the $10 badges, we've sold 534 badges for $14,880. The $15 seasonal 805 badges for $12,075. The $5 senior citizen military archive for 201 for $1,005. Daily wristbands, we've sold 3,804 for $30,432, totaling $58,392 for badge and wristband sales. For picnic tables, for the $25 picnic tables, 335 for $8,375. For the $15 tables, 98 at $1,470, and for the gazebo, we sold one for $35. Total picnic table sales are $433 for $9,880. Boat rides, $239 for $2,390. Total 2023 sales to date, $7,662. A variance in the positive, $9,283 for sales to date, to the same date for last year. Campground revenue, $3,263. So total lake sales so far for 2023 are $73,925. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Bright, utility? No. All right, Councilwoman Clark, license ordinances.
We are going to be having an ordinance meeting on Tuesday, July 18th at 6 p.m. in City Hall. That's all.
Councilman. Meg, anything with you?
No.
Councilwoman Massey, anything for Rotary?
Just a little update on the softball fundraiser. It will be September 23rd with the rain date of September 24th. At Levy Field in Hamilton Township, they decided to have it there the first year. So moving forward, I will send out letters when they put them together. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Galloway, sustainable.
Yeah, several things. Tomorrow's the ribbon cutting for the nature trail. It's going to be at 4 p.m. at the trailhead. Speakers include the mayor, representatives from Sustainable Jersey and Atlantic City Electric. And after the ribbon cutting, we'll have a tour, Mike Sheridan tour the trail. The resolution on the agenda tonight is support for the Green Team's application for another Sustainable Communities grant funded by Atlantic City Electric. Our plans are to rehabilitate the shallow grave site, which is on the north shore of the lake. And we're requesting $5,000 for signage, a new fence, and to clean the headstone, which needs reinforcement. It's on its last leg. If we're granted the funds, we may be able to apply for an Atlantic County cultural heritage affairs grant to supplement if we want to do more work on the headstone. The newsletter was successful. It went out, first one, to 80 people. We can only send it to people who sign up for it. So if you haven't signed up, please go to the website, the city website, or Sustainable EHC to put your email address in. Right now we have 109 people signed up, and 75% of the people received it, opened it, and read it. So there's a link at the top of the right-hand side of the city's page where you can click on it, and it'll just take you to the sign-up page. But it's kind of difficult to read, Jody. I don't know if you can change the color of the font, because it's like dark blue and black, and it just looks like a black.
It doesn't look like that. I think you need to refresh it. It doesn't have anymore. You might need a clear cache.
Okay. And the other day, on Monday, I attended a
It's black
webinar.
with white.
Huh?
Black with white.
Oh, good. I attended a webinar on Monday for the recertification cycle, which is due next year. We'll have to put up all our actions that we worked on for the last 3 years, and we're going to need help from mayor on the mayor's walk through all that stuff up there. And help from Jody. Also on the agenda is the contract. Oh, good. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also on the agenda is a contract for Remington and Berwick for the planning grant we received, this was about 2 years ago. And Jody, Ryan, and I met monthly for last year to talk about opportunities to look at our energy consumption and what we can do about it, including community solar, EV charging stations, and so forth. So I guess Ryan will be having a public hearing soon on that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Allen, welcome back.
All right, it's been a few weeks. So crimes and offenses, we had 9 burglaries. Most of them were 2 vehicles. So, again, I would recommend and strongly urge everybody to lock your cars and do not leave anything of value in there. This is going on throughout the county. And unfortunately, it is not just car burglaries, it is leading to stolen motor vehicles. We had 1 stolen motor vehicle, which, if you look at any of the news outlets, there was a vehicle that was recovered by Galloway Township after following a pursuit on 2 days ago. So that was a vehicle that was stolen here out of Ann Arbor City. Juveniles that we have dealt with before with stolen vehicles. So please, please, please lock your vehicles and take all of your valuables. We had 3 fraud cases, 1 narcotics / CDS activity, 13 thefts. We had 16 motor vehicle accidents, 7 pedestrian stops, 45 traffic stops, total of 31 summonses issued. I'm gonna loop back around to the arrest because I want to explain a few things about those. Other incidents, we had 9 business alarms, 2 residential alarms, 169 crime prevention activities, 4 calls for criminal mischief, 8 domestics, 50 EMS incidents. 4 firearms applications, 29 follow-up calls, 521 property checks, 5 service calls. In terms of operations and training, we had 2 officers go to the New Jersey State Police training for HGN and standard field sobriety testing. So when they were possibly intoxicated folks, they are now qualified to do our standard field sobriety tests. We had 2 officers go through ACODIS training for DNA collection. We have now 2 supplemental officers. 1 is a class 2, Lucia Dudo. She comes to us from Mulligan Township, and we have a returning officer, Dalton Rosenberger, who was with us and then left us, and we're so grateful for that. So we're very happy that they are here with us. Rosenberger jumped right back in his first day back. He towed a vehicle and first few tickets. So he's the ground running. So let's talk about our arrests. I want to tell you, Joseph Bennett was arrested on 6/30, June 30th, for criminal trespassing, and he had an NCIC warrant on which he was lodged and subsequently released less than 24 hours later. He walked back from the jail to Egg Harbor City. On July 8th, he was arrested again, found to have 7 warrants, all of which were $500, so he could not be lodged in our county jail. We have a county rule where if it's less than $500, you will not be lodged. So he was ROR. On July 10th, he was arrested for unlawful acts, criminal trespassing, and defiant trespassing. On July 12th, he was arrested for defiant trespassing and possession of drug paraphernalia. Mary Pappas on June 24th was arrested for defiant trespassing. On June 25th, criminal trespassing. June 28th, defiant trespassing. 2 separate times on July 11th for unlawful acts, and then in different locations for littering. We had a gentleman, Eric Hernandez, who was arrested on June 3rd for assault. On July 3rd for contempt of court. He had 2 outstanding warrants, so he was arrested on those. Cardaly on July 1st was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants. A juvenile on June 24th was arrested for defiant trespassing. Michael Calvano was arrested on July 4th for 7 outstanding warrants. Juan Flores was arrested on July 6th for shoplifting. Mary Rodriguez was arrested on July 6th for possession of drug paraphernalia. Jessica Hackett was arrested on July 6th for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of CDS. The reason I'm telling you all of this is, there are a few people who had multiple arrests. We are out there trying to deal with all of our quality of life issues. This is not a police not doing their job thing. Even if you have a warrant, if it's less than $500, you're not getting lodged. Unless you commit a serious crime, you are not being lodged. So I just wanted to make council and the public aware that we're out there. We're hustling, we're dealing with stuff, we're trying to clean the city up and make it as safe and as non-harassing for you, because I guarantee you all know Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett is out there in Lincos, Joe Bennett in Wawa, Joe Bennett's all over the place, walking up and down Philadelphia. Most of the time it's harmless, sometimes it's not, so yeah. Mary Pappas, I'm sure you've all seen her walking around, she pushes a shopping cart, blonde lady, she yells at you, she does all kinds of stuff, so, we have done everything that we can on a law enforcement side, and it, so unfortunately, it's kind of just been against the court so please know that we are doing what we can, but yeah, so that's all I have. Any questions, concerns?
And I might add that I did talk to the judge about one particular issue. And they're aware that we're very frustrated as to why not getting a prevention for this gym. So we still haven't gotten to talk to that.
Yeah. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Jody, anything for, CFO? No? Sure?
I think nothing exactly what I want.
All right, Meg, anything? Angela?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Ryan?
Two, three proposals on, but pretty simple. Some basic questions. Let's see. Third terrace drainage, I was able to meet with Steve, we put together a concept plan, I was covering copies today, just shows up here. So I'll get copies, probably email that to you guys. Take a look at that.
What's the price tag on that?
Budget. We're a little under 40,000, which is kind of what we figured now with that. So, yeah, it would just be even 24-inch perforated pipe, 7-bed, pretty shallow system, disturbance, small building. So might do a little better than that, but it's probably. Our municipal aid applications were submitted. Did resolution and all that part. So there. To the Chicago and Washington. They didn't get a chance to do 6 Marigo. But they're aware of that, so they're doing it. Yeah, ones that have subdivision, still nothing back from finance. I reached out and they said, they emailed back and said they're working. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to call them, call them out. That's it. Nothing back from solar next year.
All right, so bringing up the solar, so conversation I've been having with council, right? Is there any way to enter, loop and keep record of solar sometimes? Did we look at that initially or not?
Do you have usage there?
Or is
Just a
Like, yeah, like your electric bill. How much? If you have a reasonable bill.
Jody has it, I know now, because now the city goes to the city company.
If you have a reasonable bill, and you have some ground to dedicate it to.
That's the issue, is the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it on top of existing buildings.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be enough to generate offset the.
Anything worthwhile.
What
Yeah, I mean,
about
that's,
the center of Bristol Bay?
it has to be on the same.
It has to be on a lot, right?
You can't cross it right. Because then you have a generating facility. So it all has to be on different parts of the same property, but you cannot cross. So you have to find somewhere on that lot that it dedicates.
How about where that second cheap ball field is at the corner of Deer and St. Louis? You use Gavin's field, but they don't really use that.
I know, is it she right, Ryan?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's a
that
little-
part of that field is wetlands.
Yeah, I'm just telling you anything about that, because I got that.
Yeah, we tried to just go basketball court there.
Yeah.
So I would maintain that field as long as you can.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, we still use it anyway.
So yeah, I mean, if you can find ground, then find good use. Yeah, but it's gotta be on
it was brought to attention that the flip of the switch costs how much?
$1,500.
So
Every 1,500 a month. Every time you hit that breaker, that's $1,500.
it should be, you should take it as a demand charge.
It is.
Yeah, once a month, every 15, a month,
Yeah.
$1,500.
Right, whether you use it or not.
Yep.
Yeah. Essentially, they're maintaining the infrastructure to be able to supply you.
Yep.
We can make a classification too. Sometimes they just classify it and you can qualify for a lower tier.
Right.
I'll get you to send me the.
Yeah, it's just, this is amazing. No, it doesn't, 100%. I don't know that maybe that meter needs to be, you know.
Well, it's the demand charge is actually a calculation.
Right. See, they don't give us that demand for the winter, like when we're not using those lights. From May, like, we don't usually turn our lights on at the end of August. We might have run a little bit of electricity inside the announcement, or inside the stand for like refrigerators or something like that.
Yeah.
But, so basically, like I was trying to explain to the adult baseball team, I'm like, listen, you know, we're not paying these electric bills. It's like $200 a game is coming out. And everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. And then we finally got to the spot that you can never approve it because for years we had, you know, I had my baseball team out there, we had a softball league out there, and then people were using it, so everybody was using it, so there was no way to find it. And so finally, this was actually the first year that we were able to narrow it down, and then we found out that every 15th of the month, you hit that switch, $1,500. I was like, holy cow. Because our electric bill is probably about, it'll be almost $2,000 from September, October, when we're out there 5 nights a week, and, you know, the sun's going down, and you're using the lights.
Yeah, use for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'll get the bills from Jody and see if we can reclassify, if not, then get some ground.
Any other questions for Brian?
I just have a quick question. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, was Mr. Warner there when both you? and-
He was not, we sort of wanted to go through a concept that we are gonna be comfortable with. And now that I have a concept plan, I'll reach out to him and meet with there and say. "Be comfortable with this."
He was concerned.
I have been in touch with them as well.
um,
Yeah. That's it.
It was actually since the contact, I talked to him.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Lampkin, that's what you're here about, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the neighbor.
Okay.
Mr. Lampkin is
Just
Mr. Warner's neighbor.
So not sure if this question for you or coming down Atlantic Avenue, there's still a detour sign bolted to a stop sign. And it's actually, when you're coming down, if it's starting to get a little bit dark, you see the detour sign, you don't really see the stop sign.
Do you know, I mean,
It's been there for months.
first off, you should never attach anything else.
Right.
Correct. That's illegal. Against the
Can you just take that
Yeah,
down?
what is that from?
No idea. It doesn't make any sense. There's no other detour signs.
New Orleans Avenue?
New Orleans and Atlantic. I can show you, I can show you a picture. I'll text you a picture. And the branches are kind of, it's down to the sun as well. So maybe just,
Hopefully there's a marking in the back for who it was. Yeah, it's been there for months. It's not- clearly not affiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. That's all I.
I do have one. I just wanted- There's a cone that's been in front of the Dunkin' Donuts for quite a while. Is there a reason that's there? Is it because of a low spot and they're going to be doing something else? Or can it just be,
Is it in Philadelphia Avenue or 30 or is it on there?
it's on 50
like
between the,
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah, so there was a light post there and it got hit and we reported to Lanx Electric. And they said it was not a light post there. So it was, we have pictures of it. Here it is. So they found out there were numerous poles on that stretch that have been there for many years and were never registered in their system. So it's been very difficult to try to get that. We finally got it reestablished because that was the feeder for the other 4. They didn't have any of them. So it was just dark. We called them, we were like, oh, your lights are out. So it took weeks, but finally we got them to reroute the electric. So I think eventually we're gonna get them to replace that one, at least the other ones are.
so that's all they're there for.
Yeah, there's a base of a light pole.
Thanks, Brian. Moving on to 15, I need a motion to approve the use of Lincoln Park for the 26th of August from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for Champions House for community outreach. All in favor? 16 of the resolution authorized R&B engineers to perform the professional services of the fiscal year 23 NJDOT municipal aid reconstruction of 100 300 blocks of Liverpool Avenue. Any questions or comments? Not, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Roll call.
Antonisi,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers, Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 17th resolution authorize R&B engineers to perform the professional services for Atlantic Avenue Transit Path Extension, pages 3 and 4 for fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. State Streets to Transit Program. Any questions or comments?
One question.
Sure.
Was this supposed to go down New Orleans Avenue? Where you read?
So this one is actually 2 years of funding. It's going down Atlantic from where the path stops now. It's supposed to pick up the corridors. So we pick up where the path stops now, bring up the brain that, bring it into the third. And then the other funding got is the opposite, end, Washington Avenue to New York Avenue, New York to. Well, that's it.
Still planning on.
So we have applied for funding for that numerous times and not gotten it. Proposals include a lot of repaving, which so we can reapply for that. Haven't gotten it. Not very low success.
What was the one we had that we'll just put like they have?
The Sharrows, like the Sharrow Road and stuff. So this was the off-road mixed use pedestrian. Yeah, that's the one we applied for multiple times.
They were pretty much giving it to us.
Oh, so that, you're talking about the one at the train station.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last I saw, that's still moving forward. Just got something about that like a couple months ago. It's been like long periods of silence. But apparently they do have the funding and there are. So as far as I know, that's still on.
Just, I think we had that discussion. Share.
Yeah, the sheriffs, share the railroads. Yeah, so for Buffalo and Cincinnati on either side of the park, and then extending up a block or two on the other side of Route 30. So as far as I know, that's still.
That was a long time.
You know, but like I said, I got an email a couple months ago that was.
Great, thank you. All right, back to motion. Yes, motion, please.
Make that motion.
I'll say roll call.
Antonisi, Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yeah.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 18th resolution to authorize RFP to perform the professional services for New Jersey Board of Public Utilities Office. Clean Energy and Community Energy Planning Grant. Any comments or questions?
I'll make that.
All right, no comments or questions. Councilwoman Galloway has the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Antonisi, Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss, Hesse,
Yeah.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 19th is a resolution to refund construction permit fee $476 to Sunrun Installation Services for 7.9 Whitehorse Pike. Project was canceled. Any questions or comments? If not, may I have a motion? Second. Roll call.
Antonisi, Clark, Dash,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yeah.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 20 is the resolution to refund street opening bond to Ricky Biggin for $500. Any questions or comments? Vote please.
Can
Make a
someone
motion.
explain what that is?
Sure.
We don't,
Yeah.
yeah, we show, they do a street opening, sometimes they, like if it's not the electric company. I have your.
Yeah, so anytime you do a street opening permit, there's post bond. Do it in forms, a lot of times, I'll just cut a check, just cancel. But the reason for that is if someone comes in and say, I'm gonna redo my sidewalk, and then they rip it all out, and then go back on or abandon the house or whatever, now you're left with stuff missing. So the bond is there to cover the cost of the police.
So why is he getting his money back?
Because he fixed it.
Oh,
So there's a permit fee and then there's bond. With the bond, if you're gonna get improvements, you give you the bond. Basically,
Can I have a motion? Make a motion. Second. Roll call.
Antonisi,
Yes.
Clark, Dash,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss, Hesse, Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 21 is a resolution to extend the world-class flower parking lot lease for 1 year at the dollar amount of $1,750 per month and agree to the assumption of lease by a new vendor. Any questions or comments? Make a motion. Second.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Antonisi,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 22 is a resolution to authorize purchase of a scoreboard through the Huntington County ESC Cooperative. This fund is coming out to the monies that were set aside from the sale of the water treatment facility for capital improvements throughout the community. Any questions or comments? Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
I have, all the money is coming out from the,
No, I think we set aside 300,000. This will be, also, can we clarify too, the quote we got, we have an option, there's existing wood poles there, but they can't really certify us that, so there, you can get steel poles for 7, I would suggest personally, my opinion, for the safety and
Oh, yeah.
building department.
No, that's fine.
For 7,000, I think it's well worth.
Yep.
Doing that, I know we kind of talked about it briefly, so
No.
I believe it's approximately 28, 29.
Maybe 16,
Yeah.
Well,
That's part of it, the 300,000 is the total. This will come out of that pot, sort of.
yeah, so we have our crusaders AD up there and he's okay with that.
Was it heavily more than
The,
No,
What was the-
Kind of,
Yeah, we have a space for them.
and what's the total?
28,600. Well, it could be slightly different, the approximate was for the 7,000 for the steel.
Any other
That's all not underneath. Cedar Creek got their, new signs that they're getting, I think it's Cedar Creek or the high, some of the Greater Egg. They're the same company that did, LEDs.
Is that what the 7,000?
Yes, that's what it said.
any other questions? If not, we have a motion.
Thank you.
I do.
yeah, I just want to, thank you for the,
That's
we want
easy.
to push it back to the, school there.
Yeah, roll call.
Antonisi. Yes. Clark.
Absolutely.
Dash.
Absolutely.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist. Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes.
On 23 is a resolution to approve the Egg Harbor City Health reimbursement arrangement HRA plan with flex backs for Teamsters employees as a negotiated contractual issue. And within their 21 to 23 contract, I think they was. Any questions or comments? If not, may I have a motion? So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Antonisi.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Galloway. Heist.
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 24 is a resolution to renew the liquor licenses for July 1st this year, through 30th of next year. Larry Retail Consumption for MRM LLC, St. Louis Avenue License LLC, 1400 WH Bike LLC. Any questions or comments? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
25 is a resolution to support the Sustainable Communities Grant application by Sustainable Air City, funded by Atlantic City Electric for the restoration and improvements of the civil shelter rig site at Ski Lake Park. Any questions or comments? Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Antonisi.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. And lastly is number 26 is the public hearing on capital ordinance 13 of 2023, various capital improvements. I have a motion to open up the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, anybody from the public like to speak on ordinance number 13 of this year regarding various capital improvements? Going once, going twice, take a motion. Second.
Second.
All right, may I adopt a motion to adopt?
Make a motion.
Second. Roll call.
Antonisi.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. May I have a motion to pay the bill?
Motion.
Second. Roll call.
Antonisi.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes, I got backtracked to 26. May I have a motion to advertise notice of adoption in Gazette on July 19th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry about that. Mayor, your, the floor is yours for any last comments?
Just like to say congratulations
Joe, first new arrival. Julia.
It was, well,
There.
thank you.
Poor baby looks like his father.
Tell you,
It's actually, I'd like to send my condolences to our, assistant tax collector, Carol Luca, who lost her son this weekend. She's getting through, very sad, of course you can imagine. If anybody would like to reach out to her, you know, they can get phone number for you. We are taking a collection for her. And Meg will gladly take the donations. And that's all I have.
thank you.
Councilwoman Ives?
I have nothing, but just hope to see everybody at the lake for the 4th of July. Well, the fireworks, after 4th of July fireworks.
I'll be talking to you. Yeah, Councilman Dennis.
My condolences to the Luke family. The young man that died suddenly, it affects all of us. To Cedar Creek High School graduate. Also like to say thank you to all the city employees. I know it's not an easy job out there. You guys up front here that run the office, the chief, your department does an awesome job. Hopefully our legislature can get it together and keep these people in jail. So,
Thank you. Councilman Wright.
I also want to send out my condolences, family and everything. Also, I want to give a big shout out to those on Bell Mountain, those Green Bay Packers. Cedar Creek one guy, he did a free camp for kids today and tomorrow. I believe there were over 200 kids out there today. But just, yeah, it's just a great thing to see that, you know, he actually made it to that next level and still knows where his hometown is and came back and gave it back to the kids. And then also, we had another camp this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, on another Cedar Creek line. They will be doing camp for kids out here also. So it's great to see that, you know, kids are coming back and, you know, give love back to their hometown, which is it's amazing. But all I also be saying that this, let everybody know cheerleading and football signups are still going on. Starting Monday, we will be out there 5 nights a week. Week varsity, taxi will be out there Monday, Tuesday through Friday. And then in August, full pad will be on and see what goes on this year.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Hussey.
I would just like to extend my condolences to Karen and her family as well. And I would like to say, hopefully I'll see everyone out there at the City Lake Park Nature Trail for the grand opening tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And the fireworks the following day, and the following week on Saturday, Peace Pilgrim Park, they're going to have Peace Pilgrim celebration, and it starts at 9:30. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Anthony's.
I too want to extend my condolences to Karen and her family. Through loss like this as well, and I know that it's very difficult. So just want her to know that she's not alone. I want to thank Cedar Creek as well. Anybody that's sending their kids to any camps this summer, you know how expensive it can be. And so for them to put on a free camp for 2 days, that opens it up to everybody because everybody doesn't get those opportunities. Because everybody can't afford those opportunities. So for Bo to come out there, but more than that, all the coaches and all the staff out there, all the support staff, making sure all the kids have Twitter, and all the parents that were there cheering them on. See, and we're excited to go back out tomorrow. So
Thank you. Councilwoman Clark.
Just extending my condolences to the family. I'm a mom of 3 boys, and I can't even, imagine what that family's going through. And losing someone young is never an easy task, and it's never something easily understandable. To have such a tragic loss for someone so young. And that's fine.
Thank you. Councilwoman Galloway.
Yes, condolences to Karen. I don't know her personally, but sure it was a great loss for her. I've been through that many times in my family, so. And I just wanted to say thank you to Mike Sheridan for his hard work over the last year. getting the trail marked, and Keith and his crew for all his hard work doing it. I checked with Jody a little earlier. We have $8 left in that account. Could he spend it? Let's see, everybody's more for it.
Just want to finish up before we go to public comment. I also said my condolences to the family. I can only imagine the grief that is going on with them right now. In addition, I want to piggyback on Councilman Dash. I just want to say we got a pretty damn good community and employees in this town. And I commend every last one of you from the interdepartmental here in City Hall, peace on the ground, out in the street, the residents of this community, just everyone in general. Community is very tight knit. It keeps it that way. It's moving in the right direction. So with that, I'll open it up to the public for anyone that has any comments. Go once. Come on up, sir.
My name is Richard Lampkin, and I represent my mother's property, 246 Washington Avenue.
Mr. Lankin, not to interrupt, if you could just come over to the podium so you're on camera. I apologize.
I think you mentioned earlier, just when I first got here, about Third Terrace, and it's in reference to this property, correct?
Yeah, the drainage issue.
Right, and Mark Warner is my neighbor, he's also involved in this, probably more so because the water starts at this property when the south end flows to the north end. So if you could bring me up to date what you're planning to do. I know we were here, I think it was in October. And I know things move slowly, especially over the winter time, but here we are in July, and we're still dealing with the issue.
So originally we had talked about doing a curve along the edge. Consultations. Sort of went a different direction. So I've been up there with Council Dash, discussed placing the end that side of the road. Incorporated like a student bit. To just collect it all up immediately upstream of you guys, so it just doesn't get there and retain it and infiltrate there. So that's the current proposal, concept plan that we just sent over to City Council. It's already done. What exactly it would be. That's the sort of to collect it.
So the collection point is going to be south of Mr. Warner's property?
Yes, southwest, just upstream, just.
Because the original problem was when the terrace was redone, regraded, the crown of the road right now is about 17 inches above where it was to the property, I'm sorry.
From where your property levels out, that you raise the road, figure out the most was just every 9 inches. The other side, we cut it 9 to 10 inches. I was playing council a couple of times. The road was sort of super elevated. That's what you're supposed to do. You are on a curve. It's higher on one side and lower on the other. DOT and Federal Highway and current guidance is they want 1.5% to 2% across the crown in the middle of the road sloping in that direction. Primarily driver's seat. So we in order to achieve that and produce a crown, we had to cut one side a lot and raise the other side pretty significantly. So that's how we ended up with that shape, was to hit the desired road shape. Take from both sides. You could just cut one side. Garage that's there and some backyards. Balance it as best we could to cut the one side.
You mentioned it going like on a curved road where you bank it.
Right. That's how the road. When we got there, when we surveyed, one side, the slope across the road was more than 5%. So one side of the road was way higher than the other side of it. So we cut that side and we raised your side to get the desired shape to make the crown.
The problem is, so doing that, it created the other problem. And so I understand DOT, if I mentioned that correctly.
Yeah, and New Jersey Department of Transportation.
The guidance that they give, that they want roadways and that type of thing, but why would they want to insist upon something like that if it creates a problem?
So when we went through and looked at this, and we surveyed the whole road, in looking at it on paper, we honestly thought it would reduce the amount of water coming to your property. That's right. The way it was, everything was sheeting to your side of the property. So we figured, okay, if we put a crown in, we're gonna trap half the water on the other side of the road. It's not gonna cross the crown. So we figured half of the water that was coming to your properties would now stay on the other side of the crown and go down that side, and just cross it. And so we figured, even if it was a little bit higher, if we cut the water in half, there shouldn't really be a significant impact. What's running on. So I mean, I would have a really hard time believing that you guys did not have water coming across the roads before. It came through. I'm sure it was less because the edge was higher a little bit. And obviously we raised it and now it wants to sheet off. And you recall when we did the project, we did try to mount it up. The dirt on the side of the road past the Mark's driveway. But once you got past that, and past his stone, and up there, the motorhomes, we did try to raise up the soil on the side, and then over time, it sort of settled back down.
Well, actually, you had to bring
18
soil,
inches.
you had to bring soil in from the roadway to meet the property level on a downward slope.
Yeah, so we tried to mound it up and then break down, back down.
So needless to say, through all the things that have been thought about and planning on paper, when people stand in the backyard in 5 inches of water when it rains heavily, obviously the grading of the roadway contributes to the flooding to the property, both the Marsh property to our property. And to contain the water up at the south end for a period of time is doing anything
Where's
to
it gonna
go
go?
from the crown to the
So
side
the
road.
idea would be to capture it in that inlet and infiltrate it. So not to just temporarily detain it and then release it. It would be to contain it there and infiltrate the ground. Not to release it.
All right, but how about from where your containment is, what you're talking about, further north, down Third Terrace to the corner?
Mhm.
What is going to contain the water from the crown of the road to the property?
There's nothing you can do except build up the edge. Either the road, be a curb or asphalt curb, or pound up, earth and continue moving.
Like I said, don't forget, you already brought in almost 17 inches of dirt to meet the current road height, which wasn't there. Having grown up in that house, having played baseball in that yard for so many years, the roadway was at the same level as the property. And there was never any flooding. So the problem has come since the roadway was elevated. That's what brought on the problem. And it seems to me, in a very basic situation, if the roadway was left at the same level, resurfaced, this problem wouldn't exist. But now you're talking about creating some type of lip to create the downward trend of the water so it doesn't infiltrate the property. But you already have a slope that's 17 inches high from where it was, and now you want to bring another lip to create it so it doesn't create that slope, because the slope wasn't there before, only because of the roadway being elevated. So the problem was created in resurfacing that roadway. That's where the problem was created. So it seems like, well, let me go to another question. You put this containment thing that you're talking about on the south end side of Mark's project. When this doesn't work, and when we still have flooding coming off the roadway into the property, what's the next means of solving the problem?
The only other thing you can do is establish a hard edge at the edge of the road. You could move it down.
How do you access your property there? How does the church access their property there?
The curb and a driveway. If you have to do a curb and a driveway, you're gonna come up to you.
You gave me a $1,500 bill that was supposed to fix the problem, never fixed it. That was 8 years ago.
Design.
I'm the only house on Washington Avenue. If you go down the front street, in front of my house is dirt, in front of the whole house, because it washes through the whole field.
On what?
You were there. You were there with someone else, like Bob Ross. Did that yard flood? Did that road flood? Did our properties flood? You're talking about my property. Was it flooded when you were there?
First of all, it's Mr. Porter, right?
Yes.
Just give your name
Oh,
and your address.
sorry.
And also,
Mr. Werner, 336 Washington.
Yeah, if you could take a step back.
For 8 years,
also,
Appreciate it.
if you're
8 years
finished, sir, you
of
finished, sir.
stories.
We
You sat
basically-
there
hold on,
with
hold
Bob
on.
Ross.
I'm not finished. You can't have two people speaking at the same time
okay.
and people speaking over each other. So if you're finished, sir, that's
Well,
fine.
My, looking back at where we started and where we are, the right way to fix this problem is to undo what was created. Exactly. That's the right way to fix it.
You cannot reconstruct the road that's substandard
Substandard to whom?
to all design guidance.
Okay, but so instead, we're gonna do it according to guidelines that are created, and we're going to create a problem.
So if we reverted back to what was there, the only thing that could have been prevented water from coming in was some type of edge, whether it's just overgrowth, with soil buildup and grass. Or the road being lower, there has to be something to set the edge there, because otherwise, with the entire road slanted towards your properties. I mean, that's where the water is trying to go. It's trying to go onto your property before we reconstruct. So now there's less water to deal with. It's easier to get off of the road and onto your property.
Because the road is taking the water down the road to the corner. Okay, where now it's being pitched towards the property, where before it wasn't.
No, it was more severely pitched towards your property before than it is now. From the entire road slope, there's a 5% slope across the road.
And
I will tell you, there's only one back drive.
Mr. Warner, if you could.
okay, so then the question is, if you said it was pitched more,
Yeah.
then why didn't we have a problem?
There was a 5% slope coming across. Well, like I said, there had to have been something to set that edge, or some combination of it being low. If it's lower than the edge of your yard, what you have there just acts as a curb. It retains the water on the road and continues moving down. So we had to change the shape of the road. If we need to set, like I said, if we have to set an edge there so that it keeps the water on the road, those are the only other options. Collect it, or upstream there, or we'll keep it on the road and keep it moving down.
Well, thank you for your time. I can only just end in one thing. The problem was created in resurfacing the road. That's where the problem was created. And so therefore, it needs to be fixed. 6 years later, whatever it has been, and it hasn't been fixed. And at times you can get 4 to 5 inches of water in a large rainstorm on the property because of the way the road has been surfaced. When that didn't happen before, I know, I've lived there for 50 years, and it was never that way. So whatever the road was, it didn't create a problem. The way the road is creates a problem. So I don't understand why guidance to do a road in a certain manner, knowing that it's going to create a problem, you would go forward with it.
Yeah, and as we looked at it, we did not anticipate that it would create a problem. It has, as you're living it.
You know,
I'm not doubting anything you're saying, it's what you're seeing.
you'd have to literally be blind to not understand that with that road the way it is. I mean, it's just logical that water's gonna run to the lowest point, and the lowest point is because the roadway is designed to do it that way to the property. So, come back, tear it out, put it back to the way it was, no problem, all solved. Instead, I think what you're thinking about doing, I'm not convinced that it is going to solve the problem. It may lessen it, but it's not going to solve it. So therefore, my next question is, what's next?
So I think the answer to your question is, once this fixed, and it is a fix, we perfectly understand your dilemma and the length of time it has taken for you to come up here and give us your impression of the event. However, now that the engineer has a conceptual plan, which I have no doubt will come to fruition, the council will eventually approve. I hope and pray that it is the fix that you would like, and everything is correct. If it is not, then we go back to the drawing board, We cannot give you a definitive answer to say we have a plan B till we try the plan A.
So as gentleman mentioned here, that it's gonna cost approximately $40,000. And if you wanna go out to the property and take a look at it, be happy to, I think that's the best thing to do, rather than talking about it on paper, is to stand there and look at it. And
I
you could,
think we believe everything you are telling us.
Okay, so
We
then-
Thank you for that.
so the point is, after the spend of $40,000, if the problem hasn't been fixed, we're gonna spend how many more thousands of dollars to now try to attempt to fix it a second, when we could fix it the right way the first time.
I believe the engineer is confident that this will address the concern and fix the problem.
Okay, my last question, timeframe.
We do have somebody under contract at the moment. We need city council to authorize it, to do as a change order to a open contract, so. Say, I'll talk them about their schedule, obviously, the council can approve it. But I would say within less than a month of when it's in.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? When we repay the tariffs, right, is this, we're up here and you say this is New Jersey or the Department of Transportation?
It's, yeah, the design guidance for, when we reconstruct roadways, there are design guidelines. When you're doing a DOT project, if you deviate from them, you have to fill out what's called a design exception, which essentially you're signing off saying, we know we didn't follow the rules, but we're confident this is safe. For a 5% slope coming across a road, that's not a recommended design anyway. Again, the only reason you super elevate roads is for a turn, you bank the turn, so that, you know, if you have a crown on a turn, people sort of coming off the road, bank a turn, so that people stay along the road. But for straight lanes going forward, you know, having 5% slope straight across the road is strongly not recommended.
So another question, which I can't understand that if there's no water going down there. But going forward, if we do more terraces, are we gonna use the same logic? Because I certainly don't want that piling into my yard.
Sure. So
As I'm sure everybody sitting here doesn't want piling into their yard.
I have been doing work in Egg Harbor City probably 18 years now. This is the only terrace that we have come across that had anything near a 5% slope coming across. Most of the time, they're already crowned, and you have some minor adjustments to make. What have you. This was the one that has required the most adjustment. Of all the roads that I personally.
Then finally, we need a resolution, and so we do that now. And hasten and, you know.
Yeah. Nothing, but we haven't seen the concept.
I was in the alley. Where they paid.
Thank you, Mr. Nick. Sir,
Thank
you
you.
speak.
Can we do it? On council, I know you've done the contingent before. I mean, you know,
I have no problem with that.
I
We
mean,
do it
just,
contingent upon EFO approval of funds and review of the conceptual plan. We can do that.
But the final approval won't be until August 18th,
Correct.
and then final approval is August 10th. Then you're looking probably another month up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they had an opening, they would do it in the first, tell them. You know, if you're a contractor, you should plan it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as quick as we can get them.
what contract is that?
The Washington and Chicago
They're very
asphalt paving systems.
good job. What's their name again?
Asphalt paving systems, they're
Is there any,
Any chance we get a second opinion just to see if there's some other way that someone else?
I mean, you can, we have an entire infrastructure department, bring somebody else out. Section.
I mean, just completely different. I mean, just there.
Sir. I tried to stop it when they were doing it. Dennis didn't have, he was there. I said.
Mr. Warner, can you step to the podium, please?
Dirt is 3 inches over my garage. Okay, well, and he then said, I'll put a curb down here and deny you access. He was there. I lost out there. I have mounds of dirt in front of my yard. what flows through the field and my yard to the front street. I'm the only house on Washington Avenue with that. You can see where it washes out of every crack in the curb. Flows through my yard, flows through his yard. Bob Ross sat out there with him in the cars, pouring rain, standing in 5 inches of water in the backyard, flowing through my yard into his buffers. There's no grass, it's all mud. You could go there like that, it's all mud. It just flows through.
When was this terrace paved?
He said 6 years ago, this has been going on for 6 years. He said, I'll give you a design, you get the design done. I had to pay $1,500 to get design done with him. Concrete, in my garage, he said, fix it.
You did not pay us.
No, I had to pay out of my pocket, you said.
You got the driveway.
Yeah, you drew it and said, this will fix the problem. What happened?
I don't think people have the impression that you paid us to do this.
No.
That's not it.
You did the design, I have the design, it's all the information, I did the work. Worst problem. Go back, nothing I could do. So now, I can bring Bob Ross in. Bob Ross said if I can't get the answers that I need, he'll come. He was out there, Angelo was out there. Angelo sat in his car like this. I've been there 23 years. Was I here 7 years ago? Saying I had water? No. When I cut his mom's lawn, I tried to play out on the alley. And they came 12 or 13 times to fill in the part from the road to his mom's yard. It's 18-inch slope. It's 18 inches over the road. Now when it rains, it starts at the pole where he wants to put the drain. What are you gonna do after the drain? It still goes down the road. I use my back garage, I load my mowers, my equipment, my stuff every day. They could have all been stopped. And then it said, no, hey,
So at the point that's the drain will collect everything upstream from the high point to there. Past that, it would only be what fell on the road immediately adjacent to the property.
it's still flooding my property and his property.
So after, that's the concept of this is to pick up everything that would be upstream. So the cooler water that would come towards your property, whatever fell immediately adjacent to it. Collect everything that's coming.
Or it's gonna still go the same place. If there's water, if you do it down by the telephone pole, you have, 100 feet? How far is that pole? You were out there, right? How far is that pole in the parking lot up there?
I'm not sure how.
80 or 100 feet? If you put the drain there, I've still got, then you go in front of my house.
He's actually
it's a
talking-
big house.
He's actually talking about putting- He was actually putting the drain pretty close to your garage.
It'll be about 42 feet from the edge of your ground.
You think that's gonna fix the problem? What are you gonna do like you said? You're gonna do next if it doesn't?
Whatever you can do is. like I
I
said,
put new garage
before
in
you
front of roofs. I put stone and dirt. You can see the mound in the field. I put dirt. I'm done.
So I was out the way.
Yeah.
It looked to me like where it runs down the street, hits into your garage area and into the other yard. So you have a stream coming. The inlet will stop that stream.
Yeah.
So from the inlet pass, that's where your house is. So what he's saying is the rain will fall, normal crown will come into your driveway. You have that nice pitch on your driveway that sends it down. That water should be able to go down. So the reason why I think you're having the flooding is because you actually have like a river runs down that street. And that river runs down like this and hits.
That river runs from where they created the river. From the
Yeah,
telephone.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that
If you put a stick up at a laser and you put a stick up, that road, when you move, that road drops 5 inches when you move a foot, 5 inches to the side of the road. Up that end of the telephone. Now, I called Darcy, I'm waiting for him to call me back, I'm gonna have that whole thing shot. So my next move is gonna be a big move, because, I'm just tired of taking all water. I got, in my crawl space, I get moisture all the time. He changed his bomb, how long ago did you change the windows? 4 or 5 years? Change the windows, too much.
So are you saying you would prefer us not to move forward with this?
No, but what's next? It don't work, that's what I wanna know, because I'm tired of taking all, this has been 7 years, 6 years, I've been trying to get something done. No, it got done, nothing.
Yeah, the problem here is the drain is going at the upper end.
and you're gonna catch the water that comes from the south end forward.
You're catching the water as it's coming down this way, you're catching the water
Correct.
before
But
it hits your
now
garage.
you've got another 100 or so feet without a drain.
This ain't the first road in a Carver had a problem. That's all I'm saying. But I'm gonna tell you that, because I'm not stupid. I went through sheet metal school, I drew blueprints, I went through all blueprints. They did the road backwards. That road is not, every property across from me is 6 inches over the terrace. You can go down there right now, 6 inches to get up in the property. Every property on this side, the road is pitched down to the property.
I mean, I was
They
out
put
there
that
and it
back,
looks like,
that road
it looks like the people across the alley on the other side, their property
They're
is
up.
much higher
And I talked to the guy
than
from,
your property. So basically, you're talking, it's like this already.
guy from the paving company, said they got this road. He said that road is supposed to pitch like this towards the neighbors till it gets to the end of the alley, then it's supposed to have a dip in it. So it goes to the drain on the corner. Exactly what he told me.
It pitched, before we reconstructed it, it pitched towards your house.
I wasn't here before that. I was here there 20 years. I wouldn't have come in and said I got water. That's your theory of it.
I can show you the survey, I literally have it open. We're happy to go through it in detail.
There's numbers on every telephone. That road was done wrong. Any of you want to come out and sit when it's raining and you tell me what you say.
So Mr. Dash made a good point though, Mr. Warner. You want the city to proceed?
Yeah,
with
yeah, I
the
want the
plan?
city to proceed. I want to see what's next.
Okay.
That's what I mean. I'm waiting 7 years.
I mean, you're
I don't think
welcome.
proceed soon.
If you're more interested in getting the road quote or your own engineer,
No, I just want to know what's going on.
that's certainly within your prerogative if you so choose.
I'm sure if anybody here was taking on water like I am in their property, and you change windows because of moisture, anybody here would be doing the same thing.
I believe, I
And
absolutely.
I'm not here just for fun. I put a lot of money in my yard. My yard's beautiful. I work on my yard. I take care of my own thing.
I absolutely do, but again, certainly want the
Yeah,
city to move
Let's see what
forward.
they know.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay,
you
we'll
very
wait and
much.
see.
And we had a second,
Thanks, Steve.
and we get a second.
The city can certainly get another.
Like proposed to have a second. Just to see it, just to get Ryan on the hook with all of this. And so we know what, and they could maybe if you said.
Certainly make a motion to grant RFP, get another engineer.
Then that was obviously fall or later in the
Yes.
year.
By the time you send out, at the
Just
time
have
you send out the RFP, get back proposals, look at the proposals and then choose.
We've already been waiting 6 years, I mean.
6 years is a long time now. Usually we want to extend it to be more.
Why don't we just do the fix, and then if that doesn't work, do something. To do that.
An option, and we're putting out $40,000.
Ryan, I know you were saying about building up. Is there any way you can gully it so that it more runs down?
And so inverting the crown is also not very good. But then you have people driving. Water. You need to shed water off the driving surface to the sides. Most of your city streets, you have curves there, and that's what sets the edge. Where there's some curve, you use one curve basin.
All right, I haven't got a chance to do that. Couldn't you do a French drain all the way down that whole one side?
Yeah, I mean, you can extend the pipe as far as.
That's what I'm saying. You could do a French drain the whole way, and basically it would all run into that French drain and ship down the road into the sewer down there. And then you wouldn't have that whatever space between.
Yeah, I mean, the idea for this was to have an inlet. as a-
I know where you're going with it, yeah.
Pipe in, so if you did stone the surface, you're getting slowed down. I mean, you can't do that everywhere because there are some parts.
I got it.
that just drive in.
Got it.
So I mean, the idea with this is, there's about 200 feet, 250 feet upstream.
Okay.
That's all coming to their property. So we figured if we have an inlet to collect all of that water, the water that will come into is
Just 10-foot width of this wood.
exactly just the width of the property, 10 foot. Which is
Whatever you got.
Sorry, I know we discussed doing a resolution. I don't feel comfortable with it. I think council should review the conceptual plan of it and take everything into consideration and jump forward immediately just because of the open conversation. I don't think that's responsible on our behalf. But I'm gonna leave it up to anyone who wants to make a motion to pass it and we can vote on it. But that's how I feel. I think every last of us up here should have the time to review the plans that Ryan has because of the discussion that was just had. So.
Ryan, when you send out the plans, can you send out the original,
Yeah,
I guess, concept or whatever was originally there?
so we have,
Just so those of us that haven't been there before can visualize how this all.
yeah, I can say the original survey, I cleaned up with the elevations on. The design plan for the proposed grades for what's supposed to get. And then sort of the mock-up that we have for this.
Thank you.
It might be worthwhile for anyone on council interested to actually do the property taking look at.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
not,
I
this is
agree.
not an easy fix.
No.
This is the one side of the street, the yards are much higher than this side of the street.
Yep.
So it's gonna go somewhere.
And like I talked about, as we went through the design, we kind of figured, look, all of this water from all the properties on this side is sheeting across the road towards their properties. We now had a crown, so we're now trapping that water on the other side. We figured it would make the problem better.
And if you look at the vegetation on the other side of the street across from Mr. Werner's garage, you'll see it's been cut back. So it actually comes to the road here and it comes out this way. So it's significantly higher. I mean, I think.
Now,
it was
are the
like-
grades different from the properties, or is it just the
Yes.
way that right, so basically this side of the house grade is higher than.
Mark lives in Bowl, the other side of the bowl, you know what I mean? It was, I don't understand how it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because that alley was so
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because I know what else grade, like, you know, the house, you got a pitch, that's gotta be, I think, every inch of pipe, you know what I mean, it's gotta be pitched.
Right.
We haven't seen.
Like, there any other fixes with like perm or, vegetation,
Well,
or
that's-
trees or something?
That's what we talked about. When we built this, we knew that we had 1 yard, it wasn't 18 inches. Based on my records, I had one. The existing road edge was 54.19, the proposed grade was 55. That was the biggest change. So that's a 0.81 difference, which is just more than 9 inches. So I don't know where 18 came from. It was always lower based on our initial surveys. His yard was always lower. Water meter pit was 54.27, 2 feet away at the cleanout was 53.90. So it was down a couple of inches into his yard before we got it. But yeah, like I said, we can share all this stuff. We did try to create a berm along the edge of that yard. Just over time, that material consolidates, and now the grass is flat. So we can build that back up. One place where you can't do too much is where Mark's garage and driveway, because it's from artsy, you can't come up too much there. We had talked about putting a 2-inch lip for asphalt curb across his driveway. Some other solutions at various points. The inlet seemed like it would solve a good 90+%. So that's.
And that's just that just drains out, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it would just be a dead end, just infiltrate. You just put a stick of pipe out and let it trailer.
Back to stone or whatever.
Yeah, we do something that's all.
How many feet of pipe off that?
We're figuring about 40.
I think they'll go that whole length of that.
Yeah, you can certainly extend it farther.
Because don't they do like a grate, like you do, like basically, like, actually a lot of these houses, their driveways, it's towards their garage doors. There's that grate at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
Could you do something like that at the edge of the driveway there, for like?
You could do a trench drain across it, which tend to be expensive and they tend to be hard to maintain. So when we did this, we looked at the fall, the Porter's garage behind it has fallen in 2 directions. So the road is slightly higher than his garage, but it's much lower at the one corner near the other John's farm. So we did a design that allowed his driveway, allowed it to slope away from the garage, and then the front corner to slope towards a common flow line. And that common flow line. It doesn't rain much, it works great.
Right.
If that gets overloaded, then it tends to push back and go up again. And all the storage drain in the water.
So where do we stand?
There was
Everyone,
just a suggestion, we've done it before, I mean, you guys decide. to look at the stuff I taught you. If it doesn't make a difference.
I mean, committee level, we can invite them in and get it to go through the drawing and show them exactly what we're looking at based off of them planning to do. Have probably,
Hey, Ryan, if we went across that whole lot, what would the difference be, 40,000? And then obviously it's ballpark.
well, that infiltration pipe is running about $150. So. How far you want to go, Tom?
I would probably set up a committee meeting to discuss it for the next council.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's good, it's like,
It's fine. All right. We good? Everyone content? Anybody else from the public? Go once, go twice.
Nobody wants to talk.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn.
Take a motion.
All in favor? Everyone have a good night and a great.
And